GHS. Everybody familiar with GHS? Pages over on pages 15 to 18. This came in about 3 years ago. I think it was spearheaded by the United Nations or one of the subcommittees of the United Nations. Anyway, you guys familiar with this? The Global Harmonized System? Yes, no, no. Well, let me go through it for you. Okay. Well, this is real big because, like I said, my job sites that I do a lot of stuff is really chemical related. That's kind of my expertise in terms of, and essentially what this whole did essentially related to chemicals. All right. The Global Harmonized System of Classification. So, in other words, they standardize a lot of the reporting, particularly related to the SDS sheet. So let's say you get a chemical in from France, or you get a chemical in from Mexico, or from Canada, so that they're all consistent. Years ago, I mean, you're all familiar with MSDS sheets, though, right? Right. So it's been usurped with the SDS sheets, which we'll go through. And I don't know how long you've been in the workplace, but essentially, you know, uh, even as far as about they started really about the last 7 8 years, making them more consistent. So in other words, you get a chemical from France from some manufacturer, they have a standardized form that you use. So if you look at a SDS sheet from one manufacturer, it's all in the same places. That's really what it is. So this whole globally harmonized system, essentially what that did was to set basic rules. It was done, and it goes into great detail. I won't cover all of them, but it covers through pages 15 to 18 in your handbook. And pages 18 to 19 covers about the SDS sheets. And that's the old MSDS. It's now called SDS sheets and that type of thing, which is about 16. There's about 16 different sections. So a lot of that is encapsulated back on that fire diamond that we talked about, that hazard diagram and that type of thing. And which is, it's got everything you ever want to know about that particular chemical, particularly safety in that issue. Um, Page 21. Gary, this is probably probably not even worth mentioning with what you do for a living. It's pretty cool, overhead transmission line design. Um, on page 21, I know about a little about electrical safety. It's pretty straightforward. On page 21, they talk about the effects of electric current, AC current. They're typically talking about AC current and not DC current. If anybody works on control systems, they know that your DC currents can be actually it can give you quite a bit of a hit, even more so than AC current. The thing about AC current is actually the most dangerous one is your typical socket, 110, 120 type volts, because that will effectively affect your heart and go through cause all kinds of problems. But anyway, electrical safety, okay. And what this is saying is that based on the amp level, the probable effect on the human body. Right? So that's pretty straightforward. And typically, what they would do is ask you, basically, you use your equation, um, and determine what the current would be, and to determine whether or not it's they would ask you, what does with a current of let's say 50 milliamps, what would that do? What's the overall effect on the human